Now we're going to talk about pros and cons of selling or buying homes off market. First, let's talk about sellers. Pros to sell homes off market. Number one is you can be really picky. You only find the buyers that meet your requirements. For example, for this home, it's a perfect story because we only showed to 5 families, and the family who wrote offer, they just have some common stories about upbringing. And then my seller just loved that family, even though they knew I had to advise them, hey, if you go open market, you make it, for sure you're gonna get much more exposure, and you make it much more than what you can so far. And then they're happy because they want to sell to this family. They really feel connected. So that's what I mean by number one, you can find a buyer that meets your criteria. And the number two, potential savings that we talked about, staging or the home inspection, or that fee, less listing prep work. That's also what we talked about. Essentially, a lot of pros are what we just covered. It's just a corresponding saying of why, reasons why sellers would sell off market. And then fourth reason is they can filter only qualified buyers come by. So you can have fewer showings, and then you can control the time. Yeah. And then number five, you can test out the market. You can have more privacy. And then very important, you have no deadline. When your house is on the open market with the clock ticking, it's just a lot of stress. In our market, any home that has been sitting on the market for 2 weeks, buyers automatically would assume what's wrong with the house. And then when you sell it off market, even if you don't get the price you want, buyers, they would not find the sale history from public sites, Zillow, Redfin. And the next time, let's say in 2 years, if you want to hit market again, it's like a fresh, brand new listing. Of course, everything is a double sword. There are some cons of selling homes off market. Number one biggest is, for sure, it's very limited exposures because you have controlled limited people coming by your house. Number two, it could be slower, especially if you don't price it correct. And then both of number one, number two, I would say the conclusion, how would it affect you is you may not be able to get the price you wanted in your mind. So overall, selling homes off market, you just have to be okay with not knowing for sure, because you could sell it off market. What if you go on the market, you may be able to achieve much more. But we also see cases twist around, because when you sell off market, some buyers, they feel like they didn't have to go through the bidding war to compete with all other buyers, and then they give you a very premium offer. And then it maybe happen once you get put on the market, you are not able to get that price. Now we're going to talk about pros and cons for buyers to look for off-market homes. Let's focus on the pros for now. Number one is narrowed search. When you look for off-market homes, it's a very specific home, and you can, especially if you're specifically looking in this neighborhood. So this is what we mean by narrow search. Best is number two, reduce computation. That is exactly the reason why a lot of times buyers are just willing to pay the premium price, because you're negotiating one-on-one with the sellers. A lot of times for off-market homes. And then, rather than if a house, like we just made an offer in Menlo Park, they listed it substantially below the market fair value to attract all the attention. And then in this case, you're going to see a lot of computation. And then, with all that stress, that's why sometimes buyers are willing to pay a premium for off-market homes. Actually, I just covered number 3 reason as well. And the number 4 is faster transaction. Number 5, better chance of securing a better price compared when the house is listed in the open market. We just shared 3 homes that I helped sellers sold in the past 2 years off market. When the market is good in 2021, almost for sure, if you're buying it off market, you're almost guaranteed you're paying much less than when the house is listed on the open market. There are some cons with buying off market. Number 1 is, of course, limited choices. You don't have as many choices as when they're listed on the market. Number 2 is, you're talking, I guess, this is kind of matching the reason on the left. Serious computation. Sometimes we may have computation for off market. For all the 3 homes we sold it through members only, because I want to expand. I still want the maximum exposure for all the off-market homes. So I put it on MLS, and all the agents who have MLS access, they can see it. And then, when agents see it, and then especially when we filter the buyers, when we only show the homes to qualified buyers, which means they're all serious buyers, and then they could have serious computation as well. Fast-paced sales, that's another cons. And then number 4 is sellers may change their selling method and taking the property to open market. Oh, we see this very common. So what this is saying is, a lot of times, in the beginning, literally when you're in the middle of negotiation, you made an offer, and then sellers countered you. But in the middle of that, all of a sudden, sellers may hear their friends saying market is doing great, or they may see a similar comp close by, sold for much higher. They change their mind, and then they don't want your offer anymore for now. They want to hit open market. In that case, whatever price you already wrote in, 99% later on when you hit market, that property is going to sell more than that, because sellers already got higher. They already got that offer and they wanted more. And then most time listing agent already will tell other prospect buyers, we already get this figure, and the seller wanted more. Then that's going to push up the price. We are also going to cover buyer and seller expectations, what to consider when bidding on an off-market home. For buyers, number 1, when you are putting an offer for off-market homes, but keep in mind that most homes, the listing price, most off-market homes, the listing price is when it comes to off-market homes, sellers typically list at the fair market value or at where they want. Unlike some on-market homes, you have 2 types of pricing strategy. Number 1, most common sellers list the price what they want. Number 2, it's also very common, especially when the market was good during the past 5 years since 2017. We see it very common. Sellers always start from a teaser price, and then they wanted much more. So that's for on-market homes. But for off-market, it's different. Typically for off-market homes, the price seller wanted is either the fair market value or second type, their price in their own mind. As buyers, if you like that home, you probably have to be prepared. You want to pay a premium in exchange for less computation. You either give them an asking or slightly higher. Even if you want to give them a little lower, do not go too much lower, because otherwise sellers are not motivated to sell it. When making an offer on the homes off market, you also want to think about how badly you want that home. And then number 3, expect serious competition. This competition, sometimes there, like I said, there could be other qualified buyers, so there's going to be a bidding war as well. Number 4, just keep in mind it's going to be fast for the transaction. And then number 5 is you also want to make sure, especially if the overall market is declining, you want to make sure you don't overpay. So that's what we mean by you have to look at the comparable sales. For sellers, number 1, you just have to really do a lot of due diligence without open market. You just want to make sure you come up with a fair market value for your home. And then number 2 is find the right buyers. Sometimes buyers don't really follow through. Okay, we're going to talk about how to find off-market homes. Top 1, work with an experienced, well-connected real estate agent or real estate team. Like for us, for example, our team right now, we have 4 off-market homes, all spread out in Bay Area. I actually forgot to put the slide, but anyway, for example, right now, I have, my clients, my sellers, taking an example of, I have a listing in Millbrae, sellers want to sell it, but right now they're still living in it as they're remodeling their new home. So sometimes it could work out if I may have a buyer specific for that house. So we just trade it. Then that's an off-market transaction. So you want to work with an experienced agent like us. And then, we have a lot of resources, or we know other agents who have pocket listings. So work with a well-connected agent or team. And then for our team, when we have serious buyers who have been losing out a lot, and specifically if they're looking at just that one neighborhood, then what we do to help them to find off-market homes. Number 1 is definitely I will reach out to all the agents who focus in that area. That's their dominant farm. I'll personally call them, text them, and email them to see if they have any off-market listings coming up. And then I would also send out direct mailers to other sellers. We have tried this method quite a few times. Sometimes keep in mind, you may find something, let's say some sellers actually respond to you, and then your sellers, it didn't work out for your buyer's need. It's not a perfect match. That also works. And then we could also call the property owners, all the property owners who live in that neighborhood. And then, the last source, you could go door knock. There's so much more you can do, find off-market homes. But typically for our buyers, I would say only after a while, because for most buyers in the beginning, they're just open to a lot of areas. The range is pretty big. Slowly, some buyers, they're specifically looking at that neighborhood, or that's the number 1 priority, top favored neighborhood. Then when we do direct mailer, calling the property owners, or even door knocking, that's very effective. So that's all. I hope this is very helpful to all of those buyers and sellers. Currently, for sellers, the inventory is extremely low. Definitely still a great time to sell, amazing time to sell. And then for buyers, I always tell buyers, you don't buy because of interest rate, you don't buy because of market, you buy because of your needs. So that's that. Thank you, and I have a great day.